Warning, the following contains spoilers. Watch at your own risk. Oh, just kidding.
What do you want me to do?
End my torment!
Invincible Season 3 forces Mark Grayson to kill a version of the Immortal, which underscores a major element of the show's overarching themes in future storylines in Season 4 and beyond. Invincible is a frequently gory approach to the superhero genre that explores the morality of the genre. While Invincible's characters can be more blunt and rude than most superhero characters from the likes of Marvel and DC, they are still confronted with the same kinds of challenges and moral quandaries, with one of the most complex being the show's views on lethal force and the moral ramifications of it. While Invincible is quick to condemn people who kill for the sake of power or for the thrill of it, the show has also forced many of its costumed heroes to confront the ramifications of killing their most dangerous enemies, even beyond the fallout that these actions can have on other possible foes or allies. The show has not shied away from the effect that killing can have on a person, even when it can be justified as a necessary act. This is especially true in Invincible Season 3, which pit Mark against some of his allies over the issue. Invincible Season 3 forces Mark to kill again. Mark has to kill a future version of Immortal to save the world. Invincible Season 3 has repeatedly challenged Mark's black and white views on killing, especially after he's forced to do so to stop a despotic version of the Immortal from a grim potential future. You Were My Hero forces Mark to visit a distant potential future. Home to Solo Maridueña's Fightmaster and Dropkick, this timeline is controlled by the King of the World, who is revealed to be a version of the Immortal that was left in charge of the planet. Immortal, having been driven beyond reason by centuries of loneliness, demands Mark kill him to end his suffering once and for all. Despite Mark's pleas to the contrary, Immortal throws himself at Invincible. Mark is ultimately unable to convince Immortal to back down, and is forced to behead the Immortal to end the threat he poses. While Fightmaster and Dropkick thank Mark for his actions and justify it because of the litany of deaths that had occurred under Immortal's rule, Invincible is clearly heartbroken at being forced to kill another person, especially one that he recognizes as a peer and as a hero. This isn't the first person Mark has killed, but it does underscore an important aspect of the character's development. Invincible is making the issue of superheroes killing villains a major question. Questions about murder and redemption is at the core of Invincible Season 3. Invincible has been focused on a lot of realistic observations about the standard rules of superhero stories, but perhaps the most important one in Season 3 has been whether or not killing can ever be an acceptable option for a hero to take. Plenty of superhero fiction has explored the concept, pressing Batman to explain why he spares the Joker, or why Spider-Man is so committed to saving lives instead of taking them. Invincible, being a far gorier and more mature-oriented show, allows it to be more forthcoming with those concepts, especially as Mark struggles with the morality of killing. Even beyond the need to kill people to save the lives of others, Mark has been forced to confront questions about redemption and if killers can become more than that. While he's infuriated with Cecil for working with Darkwing after the latter killed criminals, Mark has also forgiven his brother Oliver for slaying the Mauler twins. Mark also still has complicated feelings about his father's possible redemption. Mark and Cecil's differing views on killing as a potential necessity is part of what has divided them in Season 3. It's a tricky issue, and one Invincible hasn't been afraid to confront. Mark's morality will become a bigger issue in Invincible Season 4 and beyond. Future seasons of Invincible will dive further into Mark's views on morality. Mark's morality and his thoughts about killing become more pronounced later in the original Invincible comics, meaning they'll likely factor heavily into the upcoming Season 4 and beyond years of the animated adaptation. Mark's views on potential redemption lead him to try and work with Dinosaurus, which has disastrous results for the world. Mark eventually comes to see killing as an acceptable last resort, especially once the conflict with the Viltrumite Empire becomes more pronounced. While Mark never seems happy about using lethal force, it is a tricky question that can't just be answered with a simple, killing is wrong. However, the original comics highlight the power and potential of mercy over murder as a concept, with Mark eventually spreading that ideology across the entire universe when he realizes his full potential. Mark's morality serves as a central aspect of the entire series, with many of Invincible's later stories forcing him to confront the same challenge that turned Cecil into the hardened leader he has become in the present day. Mark struggles with his morality and his responsibilities clashing, a concept already at the heart of Season 3 that will be a constant for Mark's entire emotional journey in Invincible. Invincible's future revolves around one question. Will Mark become like Omni-Man? Is Mark doomed to accept death like his father? Invincible has spent much of the show struggling with the legacy of his father, Omni-Man. While Mark initially idolized Nolan, the latter's slaughter of countless people in the ending of Season 1 severely shifted his views on the matter. Season 2 explores Mark's guilt over the events of the first season and his own attempts to be his own hero, even after seeing his father again and working alongside him to combat some Viltrumites. Season 3 has quietly been focused on question about possible redemption and whether or not someone who did something horrible can make up for their actions. At his worst, Mark can feel like Omni-Man, as seen during Mark's battle with the Reanimen. He can be absolutely horrifying thanks to his power set, especially when his rage takes over and he lashes out just as Nolan did. However, Mark's humanity holds him back, with a similar empathy increasingly pushing Nolan to become genuinely heroic as well. Mark doesn't want to be a killer, but sometimes he has no other choice. Invincible's big emotional arc depends on whether or not Mark can avoid becoming like his father, and a lot of that stems from his views on murder. Thanks for watching.